fresh air, and get in tune with nature, all while learning and discussing a topic of importance. Snacks, drinks, and personal protective equipment are included, and there will be social distancing with small groups of 10. Register online at 100blackmencle.org. That is 100blackmencle.org to register your young African American men between ages 8 and 17 for the following Saturday walk dates. August 28th at Cleveland Lakefront Natural Preserve, September 11th at Edgewater Park, and September 25th at Forest Hills Park. Volunteers are welcome. For more information, call 216-361-9146, 216-361-9146, or send an email to info@100blackmencle.org. That is info@100blackmencle.org. Walk a mile with a child at the 2021 Summer Mentoring Program, brought to you by 100 Black Men of Greater Cleveland. WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
WOVU 95.9 FM, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Her in the Huddle, WOVU's Look at Sports, featuring the First Lady of Sports, Rachel Hill.
All right, welcome to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I am here with my girl today, Cleveland Kate, and guess what? I'm so excited because it is a Victory Monday, and I don't care if it's a preseason Victory Monday. I'm going to take every Victory Monday that I could possibly have that I got up in this piece. Cleveland Kate, what's up, sis?
Hey, it's Victory Monday, girl.
Yeah.
What's not to like?
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm going to take all victories because you know what? There was a season, I believe it was in 2016. 2016, am I right? That there were 0 Victory Mondays.
We had a championship that year, so I've blocked out everything else.
Yeah, I know, but there were a couple other teams that had seasons going on, and one of them didn't have any wins to complement what the other teams were doing. So I'm going to take every Victory Monday as I can get them. So how you doing, Cleveland Kate? What's up, girl?
I'm good. I think if you will bear with me for a moment, we need to take a breath before we start the show. We need to put our hands together. We need to say a little prayer to Football Jesus. Dear Football Jesus, thank you for making Andrew Berry smart enough to get JOK in the draft this year. Can I get amen?
Amen. There's no more to that prayer.
Thank you for making Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah healthy after his physical, because boy is banging on the field. I know it's only been one game. I'm trying to be restrained, but I'm so excited. Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you, Football Jesus.
And thank
girl,
you,
when
Jesus.
good things happen and they don't happen often around here, we need to stop, take a moment, and appreciate.
So wait, you're not going to do one where I need to turn to my neighbor and say, neighbor?
I'm keeping it low key today. I don't know all the culture about that. I can just do. That's how my white girl prayer goes. That's what I got. If you want to add to it, you can add. Feel free. If you are moved by the spirit of Football Jesus, have at it.
Yeah, because like in the Black church, there's tap your neighbor. So you either, you're instructed which way to turn. So you either instructed to turn to the left of your neighbor, to the right of your neighbor. And then you're instructed either to tap on your neighbor, to tap them, and say, hey, neighbor, or whatever. So we can reserve those for another time. But I'm okay with the prayer that you just laid out today. It was very good. It was very succinct. Church only going to be for an hour. We be trying to get about the church real quick. So I'm going to take it. So, let's just go ahead and get into the Cleveland Browns. I'm very excited. Been waiting a long time for this. And I don't recall being so excited for a preseason game in a long time, but everybody was very excited to see this team get out here. And earlier in the week, it came out that the number ones and starters were not going to be playing. So, you were going to get a chance to see the number 2s, 3s, 4s, and people who want to try to make this team go at it. And you were going to get some good heart quality football out of there. What are your thoughts overall about game one before we get into more specifics?
So what I really liked about game one is that our second stringers, our guys who are fighting for a roster spot, our guys who are our depth, really took it to the number one offense in Jacksonville. Now, I know it was, Trevor Sunshine Lawrence's first game. I love his welcome to the NFL was a hurry and attack.
Yeah.
This ain't the SEC. I know that teams out there have no respect for the Browns. They're going to learn this year, but this is not the SEC. You are going to struggle. You are going to learn what speed really is. And I think we showed that. And again, our second team defense is so much faster than our first team defense was last year. I cannot wait to see the starters. I'm hoping with the joint practice with the Giants this week and the game with them this weekend that maybe we'll actually see a quarter of football with the starters. Cannot wait to see this defense, but already it is so much faster than last year's. What JOK did was amazing. I loved Demetrius Felton. Loved what I saw from him. They tried him in a bunch of different places. Loved what the offensive line did. People were making a big deal about how well Case Keenum did and how well Kyle Lauletta did. But frankly, all they were doing is just a whole lot of dinking and dunking. Maybe a couple long plays here and there, but it really wasn't about evaluating them because we have a starting quarterback. What's my starting quarterback's name, Rachel Hill?
It is Mr. Baker Mayfield.
Thank you. We have a starting quarterback. What I watched when Lauletta and Keenum were in was I watched the offensive line because we have guys fighting to be the new guard. I need a swing guard and I need a swing tackle. I need some depth. I need some injury protection, some backup. And I saw really nice protection coming from that line for these guys. And they were, again, playing against the first team defense because Jacksonville had their starters in for quite a bit of that game.
The number ones.
Yep.
And also
and
remember we had a chance to play them last year. So we kind of had a sense of who they are already. So you can use a lot of those scouting reports because I don't really care what they were trying to do. Obviously they're trying not to pick number 1 again or number 2. But my assessment from the game was I love the energy from the beginning to, I'd say about the third quarter. Starting out, you got a chance to see Case Keenum run the offense. At times they were sharp. At other times I was a little surprised that continuity wasn't there. But okay, once again, we got the 2s, we got the 3s, and people trying to make the team. So they started out really hot, and then it kind of waned off a little bit. Got a chance to see the passing game, which I'm excited about. Donovan Peoples-Jones, Hollywood Higgins were in there getting some reps, so it was good for them. You see that they're not necessarily starters, but, you are looking for that number 3 wide receiver behind Odell and Jarvis. So you are looking for that receiver that can gain yards after catch because that was something that we were not very good at last year. Defense, you saw a lot of swarming. You saw a lot of getting after the ball. Saw a interception, which was great. But one of my hangups is special teams. Last year, our return game was terrible. Do you know what our longest return would take?
If memory serves, 14 yards.
13. You're pretty much there.
I inflated it by a yard.
Yeah, you were being nice. Once again, I saw some of the same thing. I saw a lot of timidness on kick returns. And one thing is, how are you going to be able to play the field position game if you can't do something as simple as return kicks? I truly don't understand that.
I don't either. I'm not happy with our special teams in general. I mean, the kicking game was okay, but they also weren't very taxed this week. I will say on the positive side, we had 3 penalties for
for how many
26 yards. Compared to last year, to me, that is such an important stat. It speaks volumes to the culture and the discipline that Kevin Stefanski is instilling in this team because we saw a lot of stupid penalties last year. Not even bad calls, genuinely sloppy football last year. And this was week 1. I expected them to run out of gas the way they did. A lot of these guys were just so excited and pumped up, and they had that adrenaline flowing early in the game, and they need to learn how to pace themselves, how to play for the whole, all 4 quarters in that. And that's why you have preseason, right? To get them back into that kind of shape. So I wasn't surprised to see that. But what I was happy about is that while they may have lost some of that energy in third and fourth quarter, they didn't play sloppy. They didn't start committing stupid penalties. We didn't have, injuries, that kind of thing. And we had a couple guys get hurt, but it was just it was just stuff that happens. It wasn't because people were sloppy or they were doing things wrong. So it was just nice to see that kind of discipline. And it was just cool.
Yeah, because the game was kind of out of hand. It was not as close as what the score indicated. I know we had a 10-point win, but it wasn't even close. And I mean, pretty much they got their points in garbage time. So I really, it was just the Cleveland Browns kind of kept the pedal to the metal. Like I said, they took it off a little bit, but the game wasn't really as close as it was. And pretty much the points that got taken in garbage time. I can't remember what I was going to say. I was going to say something to you. Oh, what was the longest penalty? Was it the pass interference one?
Yeah.
Okay. And you remember how many yards that was for?
I want to say 11. No, 16. I want to say 16. Because I think that does the math, right? Because there were 2 5-yard penalties out of 26. If I got that right, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and one thing is that constitutes is a well-coached team is one that doesn't commit any penalties, and we can think. One of the things that I was checking out was to see were there going to be any taunting penalties, because I know that we are a team where we like to. I saw little things like the first down sign and stuff like that. And when Hollywood Higgins, he did a little shimmy shake. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to watch to see who is going to be able to not get these penalties, because I know that, they're trying to make this team. They want to make big plays. When they do make big plays, they're very excited about it. But I'm not really going to worry about that penalty until the regular season, because Jarvis Landry is a repeat offender. That rule came out, and he was shown, I believe, twice in the video that came out about it. So I'm just hoping that Jarvis will be able to keep himself in check, and I think he absolutely will. I believe he loves his coach, and I believe he has a ton of respect, and he doesn't want to put this team in a position in which penalties like that will be to their detriment, especially in a game against Kansas City, because they're going to do good things against Kansas City. Can you just give the ball back to the referee like Nick Chubb?
Well, and I think they got away with a couple that a different officiating crew might have called, because you're right, they're cracking down on it. Some of the other games I watched that weekend, there were some taunting penalties, and I was like, what?
Oh, really? Okay.
What? I had to rewind a couple of them. If you just search taunting on Twitter, there are people with clips all over the place of things that were called that, like, I get it. Like, when I watch it, I see it. Not like some of the bad calls we had last year where I can watch it 100 times and I still don't see it. When I watch it, I can see what they're calling. It just feels so ticky-tack that clearly they're cracking down on it. And so
they're calling it tight.
Yes, they are. So we need to stay tight. We need to act like we've been there before, right? When something good happens, we need to be like, I expect good things to happen. We don't need to be surprised and showing off when something good happens. And I feel like that's part of the discipline that Stefanski has given this team, and the attitude adjustment.
Yeah, but one thing that the commentators was taking note of is how the officials let them play. So the officials kind of was letting them get away with a lot of things that they normally would not in a regular season game, because there was what normally would have been a pass interference in the end zone when I can't remember what receiver he was, but he was pretty much draped by the defender for Jacksonville, and that wasn't called. So unfortunately, I believe that the refs were giving them a lot of leeway, and I think that you should call the games in the preseason as you're going to call them in the regular season, because you want the players to be familiar with that officiate and refereeing style, because, well, we all know that refereeing in the NFL it can be a smorgasbord, a different thing. But the officials was letting them play, and I was kind of actually with it, even though I don't believe in that. I was kind of with it, because I don't think that's going to happen in regular season. Do you?
No. And I'm hoping that they kind of ease them into that, because that's part of, at least to me, that's part of what the preseason's about. It's not just the players getting reps, the coaches getting back into the play calling, the speed of the game. It's not just about the guys trying to make the 53-man roster. It's also about learning how the officials are going to enforce the new rules or enforce the existing rules that are maybe have been, that you've been told we're going to highlight these, we're going to pay more attention to these, we're not going to let some of this stuff go anymore. And so I kind of I get that the officials are easing into it because it's preseason, but I'd rather they just call it the way they're going to call it during the regular season, because I don't want to hear, well, I did this last week and it was okay, and now this week it's not okay. You know what I mean? Well, I'm waiting to see if OBJ's going to get fined because he's got diamond stud things crusted into his teeth now. I'm pretty sure if it's not already a uniform violation, there will be a rule, and it will be a uniform violation by the time we get to September. And they'll send him to the locker room, tell him to take them off.
I highly doubt he's going to wear those.
Except they're permanent. And he can't take them off.
They are? I thought that they were something that...
It's not like a guard that can slide in and out. Like they were...
Yeah.
They were like glued. From what I read, I'll go check. They look permanent to me.
So he probably has a custom-made mouth guard to go with that too, because if he has something like that, that type of dental work is extensive, and I'm sure he's going to want to protect it. But I just think it's kind of gross because, I don't know why. And it was like $1 million he spent, right?
I don't know what he spent. I never know if I can believe that kind of thing when they say what people spend on that. It's a little crazy.
Well, first of all, he could be given to the Rachel Hill, pay back her student loan fund. But I cannot tell somebody how to spend their money. But that's where I'm at. So, Cleveland K, we gotta go ahead and take our first break right quick. Time has kind of flown by when you're talking Browns. So we're gonna be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Food fanatics rejoice. WOVU 95.9 FM and the Greater Cleveland Delta Foundation are bringing you the Mobile Food Pantry Food Giveaway, Saturday, August 21st from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 11955 Shaker Boulevard in Cleveland. This is a free event to distribute food to the community, and everyone is welcome. All you have to do is drive up, pop your trunk, and drive away. Here to serve, rain or shine. Visit the Greater Cleveland Delta Foundation's Facebook page to learn more about this free mobile food pantry food giveaway. Saturday, August 21st from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 11955 Shaker Boulevard in Cleveland. Brought to you by the Greater Cleveland Delta Foundation and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station. WOVU 95.9 FM and Burton Bell Carr need you at the upcoming Central Neighborhood Town Hall meeting this Wednesday, August 18th at 6 p.m. located at the Arbor Park Place Shopping Plaza, 2500 East 40th Street in Cleveland, on the southwest corner of Community College Avenue and East 40th Street. Indoors if there's bad weather. Learn about available jobs and Cuyahoga County services and resources with panelists Armin Budish, Cuyahoga County Executive, Pernell Jones Jr., Cuyahoga County Council President, and Dolores Gray, City of Cleveland Council Member. County and city leaders will discuss the Central Neighborhood Surge, listen to your suggestions, and take your questions. School supplies and refreshments will be provided. Join us this Wednesday, August 18th at 6 p.m. at the Arbor Park Place Shopping Plaza, 2500 East 40th Street in Cleveland. For more information, contact Burton Bell Carr at 216-341-1455. 216-341-1455. Cuyahoga County, together we thrive. This message is brought to you by WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. Remember, you can always give us a call at 216-271-0959, and you can listen to us online at WOVU.org. Make sure you download that WOVU app so you can listen to your favorite personalities, such as myself and Cleveland Kate's on the go. And also, you can listen your regular terrestrial radio way as well. But we are happy to have you here with us. We are talking about Cleveland Browns because we are back, baby. It is a Victory Monday, and we are super excited here on our show. Cleveland Kate, on offense, let's go. What are some of the players that stuck out to you that are looking to try to make this team? You said that you mentioned Demetric Felton. What are your thoughts about him and how they were trying to use him as wide receiver, running back, and a little bit on the special teams as well? Is he going to make this roster?
Oh, I think he is. I don't know where he will be position-wise week one, if he'll start or if he'll just be have a role on special teams. I think part of the problem that you have right now with the preseason is they are trying to give these guys reps to evaluate them, but at the same time, they don't want to show their hand to other defenses. So I feel like he'll be a slot receiver, but I don't know that we'll see him a lot in the slot in these games because they don't want to give the defense, like I said, any more time for the regular season to plan on what they're going to do. They want to keep some things as a surprise. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones has made one of those really nice sophomore jumps. He's really elevated his play. I'm hoping people forget where he went to college because that doesn't matter now. He's here. He's ours. Where he went to school don't matter as long as he don't let it matter, and as long as he doesn't start wearing maize and blue to games or something like some people in the past whose names I won't mention, Braylon Edwards. Just don't rub it in my face where you went to school and we'll be fine. So I think people have gotten over that and they're willing to actually just look at his talent and look at what he's doing. And I've gotten reports from a number of people that he has just been banging in training camp. And I thought he looked really good in the game. I thought his routes were nice. I'm real happy with both of those guys. But again, these are people, Joey Kelly, John Kelly, Jay Kelly was running back. He had some nice carries. He's one of those guys who needs to get multiple carries. He'll hit the wall a couple times and then he'll break one through. The problem with him is he's sitting behind Chubb and Hunt. I don't need him anytime soon. Yeah. And I think, his strength is not going to be in being that third down back in your yard or coming in every once in a while to give someone a rest, because he, at least at this point, needs more reps to build up his yards. Even if you're going to do bubble screens or something to him, he's going to need more of those reps to get through the defense. And I don't know that he's going to get enough because it's already going to be hard splitting up reps between Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, right? So this is a problem. It's good to have. I got 3 running backs. I mean, he may very well, he may be here all year and he may just come in and fill in when one of those 2 guys needs a break. But that's kind of what they do for each other, right? We don't play them both very often. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones has got that 3rd receiver spot locked up. But again, it's early. We've still got a couple more games. There's still the risk of, knock on wood, injuries. Anything could happen. These are good problems to have for us for a change, that we will actually have pretty decent depth when it comes to our skill players. It's the linebackers and the offensive and defensive linemen that we really need to solidify those backup players and a couple of the starting spots, frankly. So this week's game against the Giants, I think, is going to be big because we're doing the joint practices this week, right? So you're going to have, they had that brawl in the Bronx a couple weeks ago that everybody was talking about. And now they're coming here, and I don't think that'll be an issue, but I think what you're going to have is a little more of the testosterone flowing, a little more of the competitiveness flowing because they're doing joint practices leading up to the game. So you may see, like I said, you may see a whole quarter of our first string of our number ones against their number ones as sort of a measuring contest, if you will, after whatever talking goes on in practice this week.
But going back to, but supposedly they're probably not going to play. That's what Kevin Stefanski is saying, that those first 2 games, they might not play at all. So we also might have to get accustomed to that. But I like what I was seeing out of Demetric Felton on Saturday. So he was showing himself as a dual, almost triple threat capabilities. Is how do you list him? Are you going to list him as a wide receiver? Are you going to list him as a running back? Is how many wide receivers are you going to carry on this team? What is that fullback?
What number is he wearing?
What number is he wearing? I don't know.
Let me go look it up.
Oh, see,
that'll tell you how they list him. They're going to list him based on his number.
What was that fullback's name? The big white boy. Is it Janowitz? Janowitz? It sounds kind of fitting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Some days you crack me up.
I liked what I saw out of him. The fullback action. He was proving himself valuable as well. But Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I don't learn names and numbers until they make the 53-man roster. I don't have enough.
He was on the team last year, though. He was on the team last year.
Janovich.
He played fullback. Thank you, Janovich. Okay, I knew it was something Polish or something like that.
He's a farm-bred Nebraska boy. Those are very nice boys to have making a hole for you in a line. Nothing wrong with the Big Ten guys. So,
Janovich was up to what he usually does. But, with DPJ, you got that big receiver where you don't have with Odell and Jarvis. So, it's going to be different type of coverages you can slip him into. But you have an added event that you don't have with Jarvis and OBJ. So, I really like him being that big receiver, 6'3", 6'4", I think. So that's a big target for Baker. And also one of the things that we also need to work on is yards after catch. So he might be able to be that person that's able to get that for you too by being a bigger body to bring down, because you remember that game against Tennessee where he had that catch and he got the yards he got that separation. And that's something that we're not seeing usually when our receivers are getting the ball. They're almost getting tackled immediately. And we need to have them be able to run with the ball after they get it.
What he's got is, because of his size, he's got the ability to, if he squares off right, if he gets his shoulder set right, he can box that defender out, get that ball, and then he can muscle his way wherever he needs to go. He needs to learn how to do that a little better, and I've seen some improvements in it. In a way, it reminds me of, if you look at LeBron those first couple of years versus when he really came into his size and started using his shoulders and his upper body to maneuver the people around him and to really control his space. DPJ is big enough, and he's got a big enough frame. He's almost got more of a tight end frame to me. He's big enough to do that because he's fast, and he's got his footwork has gotten better this year as well. I think Landry does because he's just smart enough. He's just seen enough of those moves that defenders make that he anticipates them. And OBJ just usually is so damn fast that they can't catch him. So it's not a matter of, I got to get separation from this guy who's on me like this, because you can still do that. If you've got a quarterback throwing to your back shoulder and you got a defender over here, then you're going to be just fine. Is that DJ Christos? I haven't seen you in so long.
Look at her giving you all. Y'all get on my nerves. I can't deal with the both of y'all. I lost what I want to say. I lost my train of thought.
Baby right there.
That's your baby. Okay. Yes. All right. DJ Christos love Cleveland Kate. We all love Cleveland Kate here. She is a very special part of the WOVU family.
Cleveland Kate, how you doing?
I am wonderful. My football team doesn't suck, hon.
Yeah, I know. Listen, DPJ is not built as a tight end. He is so small.
Okay.
How much you weigh?
You're only 205.
Oh.
See, anything over 200, I put in tight end.
No, he actually
over 6'2".
Yeah, he actually lost weight. But he did get bigger with muscle. He got more muscle mass on him. But he lost weight, though. He was last year.
But he feels faster.
212, 213.
He feels faster, at least when I'm watching him. Or else the defenders are slower. I don't know which right now.
Well, Urban Meyer said he should have been a top 10 pick.
Yeah, he did say that.
I'm not an Urban Meyer fan. You know that. I hope he bomb. I hope he burn at Jacksonville.
Y'all are haters. You're not the only one, Rachel. Your friend
Daryl because he
says the same thing. Was just trashing Urban all over the radio and the airwaves.
Is he not a quitter?
Oh Lord, Nick Saban was a quitter.
Is he not a quitter?
He left for health reasons. He got his health fixed. Now he's
health reasons. Urban is a retirer. That's what Urban is. He's a retirer. He ain't a quitter. He's a retirer.
He's an opportunist. He left.
If you pay anybody enough money, they will come out of retirement and do a job.
He left the SEC because the Saban came in. He left. Oh, my chest hurt a little bit. All of a sudden, within the next year, but just fine. I'm going to Ohio State when with Ohio State. Got a little turbulence in Ohio State. Little turbulence. Let me be out. He out a couple years. All of a sudden, the next great hope at quarterback comes through. Trevor Lawrence. Oh, I could do something with him. Though he should have took Justin Fields, but that's neither here nor there. And there you go.
I thought he was going to take Justin Fields, and I think Justin Fields is going to be the best quarterback in this rookie class. That's all I have to say about that.
He may. I like Trey Lance better, but he may.
Are you done hating on my Buckeyes yet? Because I don't have time for haters. I love bulletin board material this week. They ranked the top 100 players in the NFL this year, and Baker came in at 71. How do you think of that? I was appalled. I'm like, I hope somebody printed it big, and hangs it up in the locker room so Baker can look at it every day. Motivation.
Listen.
He's going to be dangerous. Motivation. 71.
They're not going to be good at Jacksonville. He's going to have his first ever losing season ever in his lifetime. And he's going to have more heart and head problems. And then he's just going to quit because his wife's going to say, listen, you're not built for the NFL. He's going to go back to the college ranks and coach down there at some point.
I don't think he'll ever go back to college because there's too much work involved in recruiting year round. If he doesn't, and I don't know that he'll quit after 1 year in the NFL because he doesn't want to be compared to Nick Saban, and that's what Nick Saban did. So he's not gonna one and done.
It's over for him. It's over for him.
Haters gonna hate.
No, listen. I just like Urban Meyer. I have no issues with Ohio State. Michael Hall Jr. is gonna be the best D tackle down there because I helped train him. Just remember that name, Michael Hall Jr.
Wow, that was a nice soft flex right there.
Yeah, I know Chris straight flexing. You know,
I miss Kay.
I miss you too, Chris.
I cannot stand him. We're gonna have to take a commercial break. We're gonna be right back here listening. Hey, it's time.
You're just jealous because Chris likes me better and he likes you.
No,
because I'm nice to him.
I love it. I think it's cute. She said, "You just jealous because Chris liked me better than he liked you." I'm not. I actually love it. You know, I feel like we're a big family here. So
we are a big family.
You know, I actually love it. You know, so I'm not jealous at all. You know, you can have him. You can have him. All right, we're gonna take a break right quick. You're listening to Her and the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
To WOVU 95.9 FM.
You can't say things like that. People get the wrong idea about me and Chris.
What's up, Cleveland Kate?
Not much. Have you been okay? I haven't seen you in a year and a half. You're all good?
Everything is going well.
Good. I'm glad.
Miss you. Why don't you ever come back into the studio?
I will next week. I'm just doing Willie Epting show tonight at 8, so I just wanted to make sure. I didn't think I'd have time to finish.
Show again?
Shake Back Sports Group.
Look at you. You so dope.
8 o'clock, I'm doing the NFC South, AFC East training camp roundtable. So I didn't want to push it with getting out of there at 7 and having to get home in time to get set up for 8. But I will be in the studio next week with you, Rachel.
As a result of
nice.
COVID-19,
I'm going to be here.
Tri-C can help with tuition assistance.
Can you ask him to find our music? Where's my Beyonce song?
I got you.
I can't get up and dance and embarrass myself if you don't play my music.
I don't think you embarrass yourself. I think you do a great job. You might be a better dancer than me. That's why I'm saying we should make TikTok videos.
Tri-C is where
you know what? I'll come next week and we'll make some TikTok videos. I'll do videos with you.
AFC champions, Cleveland Browns.
95.9 FM, Our Voices United. Burtonville
Book it.
Radio Station.
13 wins minimum, bruh.
All right, welcome back to Her and the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. I am here with my girl, Cleveland Kate, and it is a Victory Monday. And Victory Monday.
Where's my intro?
Oh, I got to tell you about that.
Not your ride or die? Your sugar
You are
foot?
my ride or die, but we're probably going to have DJ Chris Styles record that intro for us. So,
all right.
Yeah, there's a story behind that, so I'm gonna catch you up.
I used to get a whole list of descriptors. Now it's a girl.
And you know what? You'd probably be like, I love Cleveland Kate in the doggone opening too. So you know who knows what he gonna do.
It's all right.
Let's talk about some defense. Let's talk about JOK, man. How did JOK look to you?
I thought he looked amazing. I thought he looked explosive. I thought he looked excited and ready and physically ready to play. There were so many concerns, right? Because that's why he dropped in the draft. There were concerns about his health, that he had some heart issues. They cleared him at the Cleveland Clinic. And
the draft.
You can watch him in training camp and stuff, but it's not the same as seeing him in a real game situation. And everything he did yesterday was exactly why he was projected to go really high in the draft. And all of those teams who passed on him with their concerns were kicking themselves Saturday night watching him put on a show in Jacksonville. It isn't perfect. He's got a lot to learn. He's got a way to go. Mm-hmm. But for his very first game, he shut up all the people who thought we were crazy for taking him.
I'm in love with him as a football player. And you know where it's really going to – guess what game I think he's going to perform really well in?
Which one?
Kansas City.
I can see that.
I think he's going to perform really well in that game. And that's when definitely they'll be like, we should have taken him in the first round. I'm in love with him as a player. He was just all over the field. It was almost I was about to say offense and defense, a basketball player. Defense right through you. It was just all JOK, tackle here, JOK. It was just amazing to watch. Them getting pressure, them being able to, it was just amazing to see. So I'm excited. He was involved in so many plays. You can't remember them all, but I'm just excited to see what is coming out of him next. And I think he's going to be one of those bright spots on this defense. And, he's obviously NFL ready to go right now. I will inject him in my starting lineup right now. And Notre Dame.
I know. Yeah, we're getting comments in the, from the people watching. Willie says that O-line is terrible for Jacksonville. Listen, I get that. And I'm not saying that the things I saw from our defense had anything to do with how bad Jacksonville was. Like, it wasn't like they had a whole lot of they weren't given a lot of a challenge. But to me, one of the things that we've never been able to do, and the Indians have the same problem, is you need to win the games you're supposed to win. When we talk about games and we look at what's happening on paper, we're looking at the season going, you better beat Cincinnati twice because on paper they suck and you need to beat them twice. You know what I mean? You need to win the games you're supposed to win. We should have won those matchups against their O-line because their O-line is trash, and we did. So I don't count that as a knock against my defense because they beat up an O-line they were supposed to beat up. You know what I'm saying?
But when you have Tim Tebow blocking for you, did you see that one block? That block reminded me of the Tom Brady block that Tom Brady put on Instagram when he actually tried to lay a block down.
Oh my God.
That's same
exactly
block
what it was like.
that Tom Brady threw. And all he did was move his shoulders like Michael Jackson in Thriller one time. And then whatever happened, he collapsed at that point. So when you got Tim Tebow out there throwing blocks, that is why their O-line is terrible because of Tim Tebow throwing blocks out there. I would have thrown a better block than Tim Tebow. That was atrocious. And he will not make this team. You did not see him on special teams. He will not be making this team. So it was a great gimmick for Jacksonville. All I want to know is what Tim Tebow doing next. Is he
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if Tebow will make this roster or not. Listen, I'm not bold enough to make that prediction. He's going to have
basketball next because he's about to tall enough to play point guard, or he's going to put up some skates and go play ice hockey. I don't know what he's going to do next because obviously he don't want to stop being a professional player. So whatever he going to be doing after he gets cut, the roster drops down to 53, he ain't going to be on it. I'm excited to see what Tim Tebow is doing next. But blocking is not one of those things I'm excited to see. It's hilarious.
You can't be mad at him for they put him in.
I know.
He knew when he went in that the play was not going to be quarterback pass to Tim Tebow. So if you are not getting the ball as a tight end, what's your job?
To block. But
what is your job? You have one job as a tight end. If it's not to get the ball, it's the block. He tried.
He collapsed in a heap. He didn't block nothing. What did he block? He collapsed.
Even speed bumps in the road slow you down a little bit.
Oh my God, that was the worst block I think I've ever seen in my life. Him and Tom Brady.
No, I swear to God,
but Tom Brady excitedly posted that on Instagram and was like, "Look, y'all, I've tried to block." It was the absolute worst.
I can't.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I'm not gonna rip Tebow for doing what they asked him to do. He knows he ain't good at it. They knew he wasn't good at it when they put him in. They probably figured the defense would see Tebow over there and be like, oh, ain't nothing coming this way because they're not going to chance sending something over this way. And then they did. And then they'd catch him off guard or something, which they didn't do because they couldn't wait to pile on him.
Ooh, it's 6:40 right now. So Mac Wilson, right now he had an MRI, but right now just soreness, right?
Yes, congratulations. He had a baby. Well, he and his missus had a baby boy.
Oh, congratulations, Mac.
Mac Wilson the third.
Okay.
I think there's a third. I think he's a junior, which would make this a third. I was just laughing because we're getting ready for the first preseason game, and his Instagram story is just picture after picture after picture of the cutest little baby. And I'm like, all right, dude, your baby ain't changed in the last half hour. He looks exactly the same. It's just a different outfit in every picture. Dude, thank God there was an Instagram when I had kids, or I would have been one of them parents putting on 8,000 pictures of my kid. Like, we get it. You had a kid.
Yeah.
I don't need 50 pictures of your kid. He's adorable.
Do we know he's projected to come back?
What?
Do we know when Mac is projected to come back at all? Or
no, but it won't be long. They released a bunch of guys today and then put a couple people on IR. Carlson and one other dude whose name escapes me right now. Huh?
So Stephen Carlson is on the IR because they say he might be done with the season because didn't he get hurt in 2 places?
Yeah. They waived Cordell. With that long last name that I can't say. So it's fine. He can get waived. I couldn't have said that name anyway. Iwagwu.
Cordell Hodge?
Agwu.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, don't. Montrell Meander, Keandre Thomas, and then they put Stephen Carlson, Ryan Switzer on the reserved injured list. We've got the roster down to 85 now. So I mean, you need to start with some cuts somewhere. So that's what we started with.
Yeah, man. And more cuts to come within 2 weeks. It just feels weird because there's not 4 weeks of preseason. There's only 3. So coming up this Sunday and preseason games on Sunday. I don't know what the NFL is doing, but whatever it is, what it is. But I am super excited for football. It is here, and this is just preseason. But I've never been more invested in a preseason before than I am this one because we know how big this season could possibly be. So I'm very invested in the preseason, unlike other times.
Because there were years where we would win all 4, 2016, where we won all 4 preseason games and didn't win the rest of the year.
Preseason champions, baby.
That's not going to be our problem this year.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's not going to be our problem this year. I am so looking forward to the regular season. I'm like, these are all just, it's like the orange and brown game, right? It's a scrimmage. Doesn't mean nothing. I'm looking at the guys that are going to be sitting on the bench, the guys that are going to be filling in and playing backup roles. And I love the fact that I know who the majority of my number ones are going to be on opening day when we go play Kansas City. I'm cool with that.
Jake Laletta get cut. Kansas City. Is Jake Laletta going to get cut and go to another team?
I would think ultimately yes. If they're not going to, unless they're going to go 3 deep, you're going to want to keep Keenum because he was here last year, so he's already more familiar with the system. But I like what Laletta's got. It's only his second year out of Richmond, I think.
229 yards, 2 touchdowns.
So I mean, I don't have a problem keeping 3 quarterbacks on the roster. I'd have to do research because the rules on signing someone to the practice squad confuse me. You can only do it so many times and then call them up so many times, and it makes my head hurt. And it's usually not anything I worry about. But we have had 3 quarterbacks on our roster in the past. What are you doing?
Nothing. Just listening and jamming out.
Nothing, honey. All right. We need to take a break, and then we need to come back, and we need to spend a couple minutes talking about the Major League Baseball team in town called the Guardians. Pretty soon that will be called the Guardians. And the fact that somebody jinxed them and blew a no-hitter.
I don't believe in jinxes.
It was probably you. You probably said this. You probably tweeted. I'm going to go check your Twitter feed right now. You probably tweeted with 7.1 innings in the book, and he's got a no-hitter going. What did I tell you? You don't say that stuff. You keep that to yourself. Keep your mouth shut. Don't want to hear it.
All right. Kate was right.
And I refuse to talk Cavaliers today because they're 1-3 in Vegas. And no.
They take on your team tonight. The Phoenix Suns. Minus Chris Paul, though. But we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back. Her and Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
In school this fall, with the CMSD Learning Experience, you'll get more. The Cleveland Metropolitan School District is offering new programs live and in person, and it all starts on August 23rd. Student health services, free. 2 meals per day, transportation and internet access, free. Each student gets issued the right laptop, tablet, and technology, plus amazing activities for the whole family, also free. Enroll at CMSD and get more. Sign up at choosecmsd.org.
This message is brought to you by Cleveland Metropolitan School District and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Calling all parents. The Brilliant School is enrolling for fall 2021. That's right. WOVU and the Brilliant School are proud to announce that students in pre-K through 8th grade can enroll to the Northeast campus for live, in-person learning, free transportation, free enrollment and tuition, and more. Located at 10608 Grander Road in Garfield Heights. For more information, visit online at thebrilliantschool.org. That again is thebrilliantschool.org, or call 216-800-9838. 216-800-9838. Go to the Facebook and Twitter pages as well for any updates at Brilliance Ohio. Courage, creativity, confidence, community. Don't miss this opportunity. The Brilliant School is enrolling for students in pre-K through 8th grade for fall 2021 to the Northeast campus, located at 10608 Grander Road in Garfield Heights. This opportunity is brought to you by the Brilliant School and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM. We are heading into the final stretch of our show. Time has flown by. I'm like, oh my God, talking some football, man, we can get it going, but that's okay. So that leaves me excited for more excitement during the season. So, let's move on to Cleveland Guardians baseball. So
I'm trying to practice saying it all the
time. But one of the things that took place was one of the worst losses in the worst loss in Jacobs Field / Progressive Field history. The Cleveland baseball team lost 17-0 to the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's not only beat them 17-0, but swept them. So the A's put up 17 with 6, 23 plus 4, 27 runs to, they were outscored 27 runs to 6 runs.
Hold on, I got to use my toes to count some of these.
Carry the one.
When I got to get my toes involved, we have given up too many runs.
When you have to carry the one,
yeah, I got to carry the one.
And this ain't Common Core, baby. This is regular math that we was taught when we was growing up. This ain't.
It's a Shaker Heights math.
Yeah. This is math I actually understand. So if I understand it, you know that it's messed up. But I can't imagine sitting there for a whole day with something like that. That was a day game too. So imagine people who took off to attend that game. You wasted a day off. But moving on. So after that series, they had a season series in Detroit. So the last time they are going to face the Tigers. So that Friday night, they win 7-4. They lost 4-6 on Saturday. And yesterday they won 11-0. But going to the 8th inning, Tristan McKenzie had a perfect game. And then there was a single that came off the end of the bat to end that perfect game for Tristan McKenzie. I did not get a chance to watch the game. I saw a little bit of it. I saw bits and pieces of it and also listened to it on the radio. But I'm excited for Tristan McKenzie because he has been through so much this season. It has been up and down, being sent, coming back, being booed by the hometown crowd to being appreciated visited by people who do not live in the city of Cleveland on the road. And just yesterday was such a great game for him. I just wish he had been able to complete it, because at times when we went to that game that night and Trevor Bauer was heading into almost the 7th inning with a no-no, we're like, why you take him out? Why you take him out? But temperature was an issue at that time because it was early in the season. But with this one, I wanted him to stand for confidence. I wanted him to be able to get to that perfect game and have that no-no. But because we haven't had a perfect game since Lynn Barker 1981, but alas, it was not to be. So what are your thoughts about Trevor, not Trevor, but Tristan, I'm thinking about Trevor Lawrence, but Tristan McKenzie's, seesaw journey in the majors this year?
So I feel like it's the one bright light to the pitching issues that we've had and the number of pitchers that we've had get injured, because it's given someone like him a spot in the rotation and a chance to get into that groove of playing every 4, 5, 6 days and really start to build some confidence and find himself. I hope what he takes from that game this weekend is not the disappointment for not getting the no-no, is more excitement and confidence in the fact that he was able to face all of those hitters and to handle it and to deal and to get it done and to keep his head focused on what he needed to do and get us that win. So I am excited about the future with him. I think as long as he can stay in things, that he's one of the few pitchers that I'm looking forward to seeing again next year. It's just there have been so many people in and out. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest problem this team has really since Andrew Miller, and then before that, I'm almost going to go all the way back to Jose Mesa. We don't have a closer. Mm-hmm. We don't have a bang, #closer, lights out when he comes in. Don't worry. We have Seesaw Shaw, and that's the polite way of saying his name, not the way with all the bad words and letters that you see all over social media the minute he steps onto the mound. There's just Karinchak. I don't even know what to do with him anymore. There's just so many of them.
That's why.
Right? So I don't know who's even out available in this offseason for them to go get, or if they've got someone in the minor leagues that they can work with and promote and get, because that's a closer is a whole different kind of cat, right? I mean, that mindset that you have to come in and know guts of steel, you're going to throw to 3 guys and you're going to get them all out, and then you're going to walk off and be done, and then you may not come in again for a week until they need you to come in and shut something down, depending on how things are going. That's, there have been some great ones over the years. Not every team is blessed to have one. It would be nice if we could get someone who is just a little more consistent and a little more solid than what we've had lately. So that's what I'm hoping they'd look at for this year. But I think from a rotation standpoint and just with starting pitching, if we can just get people back and healthy, that will be okay next year. It's another, we're growing, we're young, we're growing. Frankie in here, so we knew this year was going to be ugly from jump. So it's just a matter of making sure that farm system is what it used to be. And we need to, you and I have talked about this probably 1,000 times, Rachel. Until we get an owner who's willing to spend the kind of money that needs to be spent, we will continue to be a farm team for the rest of the major league. And you get a Cy Young award-winning pitcher and he's going to get traded to someone else, or he's going to leave and sign somewhere else because we're not going to pay them. So it sort of makes me laugh about the name Guardians, because I'm like, oh, well, it's a good thing we've been named after a minor league team, because it feels like I'm rooting for a minor league team because they're not making the commitment they need to make, in my opinion, to get the last couple pieces to go over that next hump. So, it'll at least be fun to watch next year if we actually have healthy starting pitching.
If anything, they're guarding their bank account in the most negative way. But you're right. As far as having a closer who can do it, Karinchak, since he's not allowed to put any sticky stuff, his velocity and his speed has went down. So
his rotations are, yeah.
So that was a hope for him to be a closer, but
that's clearly a thing.
Yeah, that's not going to happen anymore.
I mean, I'm not saying he was putting anything on the ball that shouldn't have had to be there.
Yeah.
Just saying, now that we're verified he's not, things look a little different from the batting box when you see the ball coming at you.
Maybe he should get vaccinated. That might be better for him. He needs anti-vaccine.
Oh, is he one of those?
They had to check him about his Twitter account for the second time. The Cleveland Indians did. Oh yeah. So that was a big story. But before we go, we only got a couple minutes left. Trevor Bauer, man, this story is just getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And, you know, Trevor Bauer was a very polarizing figure, just like Baker Mayfield, a very polarizing figure. You like his attitude or you don't. And right now, today they had that hearing, I believe. Well, they're behind us, you know, obviously by a couple hours, but he had that restraining order hearing against that girl. But in the allegations are some very, very graphic allegations in which he was punching her on so many places on her body. And I just was kind of in disbelief, you know, reading that. And just kind of disbelief that Trevor Bauer would do something like that, because you think about, you're a professional, and I guess, you know, I don't know, I guess he thought that she would remain silent about it, but she is pursuing this to the max. So he has been on leave from his team since the allegations pretty much first came out. Do you think Trevor Bauer ever plays Major League Baseball ever again?
This is such a difficult topic for me, because if he did what he's accused of doing, then he shouldn't even be allowed to watch a baseball game. But all too often we have seen women accuse professional athletes and rock stars and movie stars of things that never happened, because they want to be in the spotlight and they want to be important and they feel some kind of way about however that relationship went. And I hate the fact that when these allegations come up, I treat it with skepticism, because these kind of women make it harder for women who are genuinely assaulted to come forward and to be believed and to have their story heard. And, you know, we saw some allegations against Ezekiel Elliott, 2 years ago, and he produced text messages that backed up his story. Trevor Bauer's on social media showing text messages, and it's like, there's the legal system takes so long to work that you want to be like, you know what, you need to not play baseball, go deal with the legal issues. Once the legal system has done what it needs to do, if you're exonerated, then you come back and we're fine. But a professional athlete's career is only so long. Sometimes you can't afford to lose. Now, maybe as a pitcher you can. A running back's career is this long compared to any other position in football. They can't afford to lose an entire season while they're fighting a legal battle. And then if they come out and win, what is the repercussion? What is the recourse? How do they make that money back and that time back? They don't. So the whole situation is stressful to me, because I just don't know that I believe what was said. You and I have seen him, have interviewed him. I have never, not often. I'm not saying like we're best friends or anything like that, but there are certain professional athletes that I have been around who set off my female radar, and Trevor was never one of them. Now, maybe he's just that good. I don't know. It's a terrible situation that we have to deal with. And unfortunately he has to deal with it. And the way he has to deal with it is by sitting back, shutting up, and letting the legal system work. And then once that's over, we'll see where everything falls. I think physically he will still be able to play baseball once this is cleared up. It's going to just be a matter of if he ends up being exonerated or not. He's not going to want to settle in any way, shape, or form if that risks him being able to come back and play baseball. Because there are already those people just saying, just write her a check and she'll go away. But that doesn't clear his name. And he seems like someone to me who is going to plant his flag on that hill of I didn't do nothing and let the hurricane hit him while he's there.
So sexual consensual by both of them, where the part that is the blurred lines is whether or not it was abusive and uber ultra physical sex. So I believe Trevor Bauer plays again, because Major League Baseball does not have the abuse problem that football has or basketball has. So I think he will play again. I'm not saying whether or not I want him to play again. I'm not saying whether or not, my opinion is kind of irrelevant as to what they had, but I believe Trevor Bauer will play again, just because, like I said, Major League Baseball does not have the issues with players abusing women that the NFL does. So he will be playing again. So that is it for us. We are wrapping this up. Thank you, Cleveland Cake. This is Her in the Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM, and we are out of here.